Well, I just want to thank our chairman and our ranking member, not only for their leadership on this, but also today raising two issues that happened in California. The tragic shooting at LAX of a TSA officer. It just happens to be the entrance that I go to very often when I fly to Washington, and I see that spot. And I saw it when we had roses all over the floor there. It's just unbelievable what happened. And the second one, which was this terrible breach of security in San Jose. So I really want to, before I get into that, just thank you for two things. You know, sometimes you come here and you're pummeled, so I want to thank you for the pre-check system. I want to say it means so much to me because for years I was begging TSA to do this because it means as we look for the needle in the haystack, right, we're getting rid of a lot of those needles that we don't have to look at. And it makes your job really easier. And it really makes it better for people. People are thrilled. They really are. And I talk to them all the time. So thank you for that. I want to also thank you for this report, Enhancing TSA Officer Safety and Security. It came out after this tragedy at LAX. So I don't want to ask you, we'd have to be in a classified setting. I don't want you to go into how you're changing things, but let me just get a yes or no answer. Are you working very closely in Los Angeles at LAX with the other security forces there? The LA people, the LAX security people, because it's key. You have to be on one page. Are you coordinating?
Yes, Senator. We work very closely with, they're called LAWA, the police chief, Pat Gannon, and his officers to ensure that we have as seamless as possible response to another tragedy like this, if it may happen.
And if there's any problems in that regard in terms of the cooperation, will you let me know? Because to me, that's the key. Yeah, you have to mobilize all the resources. That was a mess. People were just not around. Passengers were just running. Didn't know in which direction. No one was in charge. It was really a very bad situation. So this requires your attention, and I'm assuming it's gotten your attention.
It very much has. I've been to Los Angeles, including the day after the shooting, November 2nd, and then a number of times since then.
Good.
Gina Marie Lindsay, the airport director, met with the mayor, a number of people to ensure that we are doing everything we can to address situations like that.
Okay, and my last question has to do with that incident that was raised by my friends here. San Jose Airport, the early hours of April 20th, a 15-year-old boy was able to breach the perimeter fence, climb unnoticed into the wheel well of a parked aircraft. And we're all thankful that this child survived the 5-hour flight. But this situation, just use our imaginations. If a 15-year-old kid can do this, who else can do this? I don't have to go into detail. So this layered defense is critical, obviously didn't work. And let me tell you what really, really concerns me. 3 weeks before this security breach, the TSA completed a comprehensive 3-month inspection of San Jose Airport. And what did you find? And I'd ask unanimous consent to put this in the record.
It's done.
You found that they were in compliance on all counts, and including a review of the perimeter security through physical barriers and electronic access control systems. They passed this. Now, is it an 82-hour inspection? And in your own words, San Jose Airport was found to be in compliance with its security requirements for perimeter systems and measures, including the fence line. And then you go into everything that was done. What happened here? What are people telling? I'm sure you called them in and said, huh? Are you kidding? This is nightmare. What did they say?
Yeah, so we're obviously following up on that, Senator, as I think you and everyone
Why
know.
are you just now following up on it? Why haven't you followed up on it the next morning?
Oh, no, we did. We did that night. I mean, well, as soon as we learned that there had been a stowaway, we've been working that almost nonstop since then to find out exactly what happened, what the airport authority who has the responsibility for perimeter security. We, of course, work with them in terms of the airport security plan to say,
no, you're not
here's
answering
what
me. I'm sorry. You found them in compliance 3 weeks before this happened.
So there's,
and it's not about a stowaway. It's not about a stowaway. It's about the fact that someone leaped over that fence and got onto a plane. What if it was someone else? So I don't understand. I just think you're too calm about this. I don't understand. I want to know, what are you doing about this?
So we are working with the airport, obviously in our regulatory capability. We have the ability to fine the airport for allowing this to happen because it is an egregious violation of the airport's perimeter.
So you think it was a failure of their personnel, not their fencing or everything that you checked?
So as you know, with 450 airports, there's no one-size-fits-all for each airport, so we inspect each one to assess for that location is the perimeter fencing, along with a number of other things. We actually did have 2 findings unrelated to the perimeter security. Their fencing was in fine shape, but as at least one prior Secretary of Homeland Security said, show me a 15-foot fence and I'll show you a 16-foot ladder. So there's no perfect solution. So what we do is try to buy down risk in a measured fashion that allows us to make sure that we're doing everything possible. The fact is there was no CCTV coverage of showing where he actually went over. We know what he said where he went over the fence, and then what he did as you described.
Are you concerned that your organization cleared this airport just 3 weeks before and said they were in compliance, including physical barriers and electronic access control systems?
So I'd like to draw a distinction between what our regulatory compliance work is to say they have the systems in place. The question is, do they work at every instance? And there's no 100% solution here, Senator, as you know. So we can build fortresses around airports for access
But where's the layered defense? What's the layered defense here?
So there are a number of opportunities. There could be armed officers or with canines out patrolling. There could be better CCTV coverage. There could be a second fence in some situations. You can look at Ben Gurion Airport to see what they do.
Well, let's do it. I don't want to take any more time. I just want to say this. You cleared them, and that's troubling to me. Why didn't you know that they didn't have the dogs? Or what? Is something wrong here? I'm very worried about this because it isn't enough to fill out a piece of paper and say, check. This is really serious business, really serious business. What if it was someone else with an explosive that got on that plane? Hey, this is bad news, and I just would like not to continue this conversation now, A, because of my colleagues getting probably very annoyed with me because I've gone over, but B, I think we need to meet in a different type of setting
to find
out what the heck is going on here, because I don't want this happening in anybody else's airports, and I just don't feel the sense of urgency in your voice that I'd like to hear.
So thank you for that comment, Senator. I try not to be too over the top. I try to be measured in what I do, and I think that what we do is measured in terms of we could require airports to do much, much more. The question is who pays for that, and if Congress doesn't fund us to fund the airports, then that's an unfunded mandate for the airports. So we try to work in partnership as best we can to buy down risk and to do what we can to try to prevent risk, but not try to eliminate risk.
I get it. Don't throw it away from the fact that you cleared these people, and that is wrong. And there ought to be
I respectfully disagree, Senator, because if you go into detail as to what we are doing in terms of clearing, I think you're drawing the wrong conclusion from why we are, as you say, clearing. We are assessing the airport security program. If it's done to our standards, then we will say, yes, you're doing it to our standards. It's not a guarantee that nothing bad will ever happen. So if that's what you're getting to, if you're looking for 100% guarantee, that's not going to happen.
I'm looking for a layered defense.
Which we have, which the airports have.
Did not
it's
happen.
Not a guarantee 100%, ma'am.
Did not happen. This is serious business.
I agree.
I don't think you're taking it that seriously.
I disagree.
That's fair enough.
Thank you.
I still like you.
I like you too. We disagree.